Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Golden Astrologer Podcast. This is Deb McBride, and it is Sunday, the 15th of September in the year 2024, and I am recording this in lovely Escazú, Costa Rica, where it is Costa Rican Independence Day. Today is 202 years since Costa Rica got its independence from Spain, and they are celebrating all over. There were parades this morning. I did not go. It was too early. And, they've been practicing. I could hear the drums and the bands and stuff around the neighborhoods and nearby. And so, yes, it's been a celebratory time. Happy Independence Day. Happy birthday, Costa Rica. You are a Virgo country, and I am sitting in a Virgo country during Virgo season. And today, we have actually a really lovely aspect on Sunday the 15th, Costa Rican Independence Day. There is a very lovely aspect, and it is a grand air trine. So this is between Venus, the moon, and Jupiter. So Jupiter's in Gemini, Venus is in Libra, and the moon is in Aquarius. These are all air signs, and they are making a configuration that's a big triangle. And they are all at a 120-degree aspect from one another, and it's absolutely a lovely, lovely aspect. So it's a good day for an independence celebration. And it's, we knew that Venus and Jupiter were going to be talking to each other in a trine. Remember I said that last week. But, the moon is adding a special flavor to it. It's been going on for hours today. So this is very rare and unusual. And the fact that we're having this is a really good thing. So it's a good time to celebrate gratitude and friendship and loved ones and all the things that actually work very smoothly in your life that you don't have to think about, right? There are lots of things that work without us having to give it too much thought. So we have to be grateful for those things that operate very smoothly, and that's a grand trine, things moving forward and moving in a good way. So I hope people are in a good mood out there. It's a nice, light support to the fact that we're having an eclipse this week. So I think, we have to appreciate days like this with a grand air trine, and it helps. It should soothe your mind, because the air signs are about the mind and our mental acuity and our thinking processes and all. And hopefully we can find a peaceful place in our mental processes today, because lately it's been a bit of an overwhelm because of this eclipse energy and because Pluto is at the end of Capricorn. So it feels a bit tedious right now, and a lot of us don't have the patience for this anymore. It's, we're ready to be done with Pluto in Capricorn. We're ready to be done with it, and we still have another 2 months of it, till the 19th of November. But the good news is, once we get to early October, Pluto will go direct and won't be backwards anymore, won't be retrograde, and we will start to really notice the energy changing. It's the next couple of weeks that are really intense because of eclipses. And remember that this is the last set of eclipses that is happening while Pluto is in Capricorn. So we are not experiencing eclipses again while Pluto is in Capricorn. This is the end of it, okay? Now, the interesting thing is this is the only time this year that we're experiencing eclipses with Pluto in Capricorn, because earlier this year when we had eclipses, Pluto was in Aquarius. So we got our first taste of eclipses with Pluto in Aquarius. And, this is it. This is a real finality here. And this finality feels itchy. It's like, remember when you were in high school and you had senioritis? Do you remember senioritis? Or college, senioritis. I had college. I had it both times. And senioritis, it sounds like a disease. It's not. It was a play. It was a pun on diseases. It's not a disease. It's how you feel when you're about to graduate and you can't wait to get there. It happened to me both in college and in high school, and I just wanted to be done. And you just want to be done. And you're just like, when you're in high school, you're like, let me just get out of here and get to college already and have a new, fresh perspective with new people in a new place. And when you're in college, let me just go out and get to work already and have a life and have a little vacation and then go have a new life and start my life. So it's a little like that. And we feel like we're in a holding pattern. I talked all about that last week, that holding pattern of being in this, well, I don't want to make a move this way or that way. And there are certain things going on in the world, like I mentioned the election in the United States last week, and that's something people seem to be gripping onto, which way it's going to go. And but it's really behind it all, it's this Pluto. It's this Pluto, because Pluto's going to leave shortly after the election, right? So it's all happening at the same time. And then Saturn will go direct mid-November, just around the time that Pluto is getting ready to leave Capricorn, which is interesting because Saturn rules where Pluto is. So we're back in a place where Saturn is the ruler of where Pluto is. And that's where we've been since September 1st for the last couple of weeks. And it's complicated because Saturn and Pluto are an intense duo, and they make things feel more heavy than they need to be. And this heaviness, so there's the fact that the eclipses are the last eclipses while Pluto is in Capricorn, and the heaviness and the overwhelm and the irritability is coming from the eclipses. So it's all one big astrological stew of discomfort right now. And this is going to be an interesting time, because as soon as we get rid of Pluto and we get rolling and we get out of like Saturn retrograde and stuff, Mars is going to go retrograde, which never gives us a lot of energy. So we have to stay focused on right now. And right now we have an eclipse on Tuesday. Okay, so this eclipse is a full moon. It's a lunar eclipse, meaning the sun is opposite the moon. The sun is in Virgo, as we just said. The moon is going to be in Pisces. Right now, as I said, the moon is in Aquarius, so it will go into Pisces. It will enter the sign of Pisces tomorrow at 5:39 a.m., Monday the 16th, 5:39 a.m. Eastern Time. And the moon is in Pisces, and we are having this eclipse the night after, Tuesday the 17th, and you'll see the full moon. And this does not happen until 10:34 p.m. Tuesday night. So we get a lot of lead up because the moon is in late Pisces when it's an eclipse, and it's going to be connected to Neptune. So the moon will move through Pisces part of Monday and then all of Tuesday, and what it's going to do first is going to oppose Mercury at 2:55 a.m. Eastern Time. It's going to conjunct Saturn at 6:11 a.m. Eastern Time, and then it's going to square Jupiter at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and then it's going to make it in conjunct to Venus at 7:31 p.m. Eastern Time, and then it's going to make the opposition to the Sun at 10:34 p.m. when we have the eclipse. Leading up, all those aspects leading up to the eclipse are part of the story. And, Mercury, Mercury's often part of the eclipses just because it's always close to the sun. It's not exactly part of the eclipse because the eclipse really happens later in the sign. It's really, this eclipse is with Neptune. Neptune and the moon will be conjunct each other, and the actual conjunction doesn't happen until 3:10 a.m. on Wednesday morning Eastern Time, but it's like 5 hours away, 4.5 hours away, and this is really something that we have to pay attention to. Now, on the one hand, it's the moon in Pisces, right? It's an eclipse with the moon in Pisces. Sometimes you just go, oh, wow. Yeah, huh? It was an eclipse. I didn't even notice. That's Pisces. But it's with Neptune. So there's a lot of deep, mysterious energy with Neptune. There's a lot of psychic, intuitive ability with the moon on an eclipse with Neptune. There is a feeling of water emotions, deep emotional energy with the moon in Pisces on Neptune during an eclipse. This is about as deep as water gets, okay? In the astrological sense. This is a very deep moment. It is, every month the moon passes over Neptune, but it's an eclipse this time. And so this is going to be very juicy, very intuitive. Maybe, you will feel the need to have some emotional release, which is not uncommon during an eclipse of this sort. It's in the last of the zodiac signs. It's at the end of the zodiac. Okay, Neptune is at 28, the eclipse is at 25, Pisces. This is at the very end of the zodiac. So what it's sort of getting home, that message of, yeah, this is an eclipse at a very heavy point of the zodiac, which is the end. And we felt the end with Neptune at the end of Pisces, very end of Pisces, a few months ago when it turned around and went retrograde. And it really got so close to leaving one cycle of zodiac and moving into the next. It did not move into Aries. It'll do that next year. But what I'm saying is the very end, the very juiciest part of the zodiac, the most watery, the most forgiving, the most atonement, the most surrender. So there's something in all of this that has to do with surrender. And what you need to know about this eclipse is that there may be a place in your life where you just need to let go and have faith and trust the universe or whatever force you trust. Call it source, call it Mother Nature, call it God. This is a very deep sense of letting faith and trust guide you. And the the interesting thing about eclipses is we're all biting our nails till we get there. And it's not because people are conscious of the eclipse. It's because there's an underlying energy of anxiety and discomfort and impatience and agitation that comes with eclipses, with every eclipse. Okay? So people are not standing around on street corners going, oh, it's an eclipse, I'm a nervous wreck. No, they don't know what's going on. They just know that maybe right now they're experiencing some discomfort. Wherever you may be in your life, whether it's at work or at home, and I said this on Instagram the other day, with your family, with your personal life, with your professional life, you may be feeling this sense of great discomfort. And there's an urgency or an impatience. I just want to get through this already. I think that part is coming from Pluto. Because we have eclipses every 6 months and we get through them. And, sometimes information comes and it's life-changing. And that often happens at eclipses. There's often new things that come to the table that bring us to a new place. Now, for example, you're going to hear some things about the last eclipse during these eclipses because that's the nature of these things. So I learned about a friend who got pregnant back in April during the last eclipse, the one that was in Aries, that was the strong eclipse. We learned that someone was pregnant, someone related to where I live here. And this last Saturday, not yesterday, she had her baby shower in Austin, Texas. And so there was a reference point. Okay, so now we're in eclipse season again, and the baby's baby shower is happening during eclipse season, which she learned during the last eclipse back in April. So these cycles come back. We hear stories and we remember. It doesn't mean that there's rarely is there a connection that profound. It's like, okay, and it's like steps, and it makes sense with pregnancies and stuff. But, we're going to hear stories from those last eclipses. Now, I don't recommend starting something brand new at an eclipse. Like, I'm going to start my website. We're going to launch the website. And it sort of falls flat, between this eclipse and the next eclipse. This is an eclipse corridor. This is where you don't want to start something new. You can wait until afterwards. If you really want to be cautious, you can wait until 2 weeks after the next eclipse, which is October 2nd. So you wait till around, the 14th, 15th, 16th of October when the next lunation will come, which will be another full moon, like a month from now, 4 weeks from now. And that's the end of the eclipse period. Just done, okay? Just period, done. Amen. Once, like many, many years ago, I got a new computer. My brother bought me a gift back in like 1998. It was a new computer. And I got it. He ordered it on the eclipse. And I got the computer on an eclipse, around the eclipse. And it was one problem after another with that computer. It was a reputable company at the time. And oh my God, it was, it arrived without a monitor. It was a desktop. It arrived without a monitor. I had to call them. They were like, "Huh? What?" I said, "You didn't deliver the monitor. I can't use it." So they had to ship that separately. I had to get them to ship it on a Saturday. That then after it came, when it arrived, it had like a damaged video card. So then I didn't know that until I got the monitor. And so then I had to get a new video card, and then and there was one problem after another. You know how they talk about cars and how they can be a lemon when they were manufactured? That computer was a lemon, and it was never good. So even ordering new technology on an eclipse, I would be wary and wait. Okay, I know it's not like you're launching your website. It's not like you are getting engaged. It's not. You're not buying a house. It seems simple. It's a computer. We do these things every day. It's business as usual. No. Something new. It's a new thing. So yeah, I always warn against that stuff. But the more important point of this is that it is happening at the very end of the zodiac. Okay? So there's a lot of juicy stored energy there. Now, this is a great time to meditate. It's a great time to explore one's emotions. It is a good time to release one's emotions, and whether you journal, whether you have a good cry, whether you express yourself to a friend, whether you go for a long walk someplace soothing and healing. Remember, this is the end of Pisces. It's got that Pisces flavor to it. It means, I need to take time for me and my feelings and to just be. Because Neptune wants to just be and be in the flow. So we have to go through this flow of sensitivity, of emotions, and sensitivity with exclamation points. This is a very sensitive point of the zodiac. And if you feel really sensitive and touchy, if people say things to you and you get upset and walk away and want to cry, don't be surprised. The Virgo part of the eclipse, the sun in Virgo, will be like, what are you doing? Why are you so sensitive? What are you getting so upset for? Because it's very practical. But remember, it's opposition, sun and moon. And so I would say, if you feel that need to go express your emotions somewhere, whether you need to go scream alone in your car, or whether you need to be alone, just alone, with a candle, in meditation, go do it. Do whatever you need right now. This is a place where we need to feel healed, where we need to feel soothed, where we need to feel our emotions speak to us, our soul, our spirit, whatever you believe in. Okay? Maybe you don't believe in anything. Maybe that's fine for you. But then it may be a very emotional experience. Okay? So this is emotions, this is faith, this is trust, this is belief systems. This is about how you can be in a healing space during this time. And I highly recommend that. Do something for yourself that is soothing and healing. Go get a massage. Take a nap. Go to the movies. These are Piscean things. Go for a swim. Go out and watch the sunset. Take in nature. Go by the water. Stand by the lake or the river. I have a river at my doorstep, and I can go spend time with the river and watch the herons and the kingfishers at my doorstep here. It's wonderful. So these are things I highly recommend you do to maybe quell the anxiety, quell the discomfort. Find what makes you comfortable. Hopefully it's not something overindulgent, because remember, Pisces is about addictions. Hopefully it's not alcohol or other substances. Hopefully, we want to try to stay away from that stuff. The best use of this energy is to tap into your creativity, your visualization skills, your aspirations, your hopes, your wishes, your manifestations, the things you want to create in your life. Pisces is highly creative and it's magical. It's a magical sign. So try to find the magic in this eclipse and try to find the place where you can tap into a sense of spirit, trust, faith, all those things I mentioned, and where you are being guided. You know, what your internal intuitive GPS system is telling you. Where are you going? Okay. Also, you should know that this is a 25 and change of Pisces. That means if you are born sometime in mid-March, mid-September, mid-June, and mid-December, you are going to feel this very strongly because those areas of the mutable signs like Pisces, that's Virgo, that's Gemini, and Sagittarius, they are going to feel this very strongly. Okay, so if you have planets in 25 degrees of any of those signs, and you know your chart, you can expect to feel something shaken up from this eclipse or moved by this eclipse. Also, if you have something at 10 degrees fixed, you're going to feel this. And that would be, 9, 10, 11 degrees fixed, which some of us do. And that would be Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus. If you have anything in those like 9, 10, 11 degrees in that area, you are going to also feel this eclipse. You're going to get triggered by this. So know that. If you don't know your chart, well, come and see me. Come and see me. What are you waiting for? Come and see me. Join me in a session. We can look at your chart and we can see where this eclipse is happening for you and where the next eclipse is happening for you and where Pluto is happening for you. Okay? Join me in session. Go to my website, thegoldenastrologer.com, and click book now. And you can be setting yourself up for an astrology session or a Reiki session. A Reiki session would be lovely right now. Certainly. It helps soothe the jangled nerves that we're all feeling. But it is just an eclipse, and we have been through this before. They do change things. I think the stronger one is October 2nd. So I think this one should be a little more mellow, especially since it is in that Neptunian realm. I also want to warn you that, Neptune is Neptune, and it is still a bit of a trickster. And it can really bring out some truths about people who have deceived you. And if you are deceiving yourself or you have deceived someone else, some of those things might surface during this time. So just be aware of that too. But my biggest advice is to definitely find your space of healing, find your space of faith, whatever you believe in, and go there. Okay? Now, as we move into the week, the 18th, Wednesday, we've got Mercury opposite Saturn. Now, if there's ever a time to tap into your beliefs during the eclipse and your faith and have full-on faith in and trust in the universe and in life, it's this week. It's this eclipse because Mercury and Saturn will try to tell you differently. Mercury and Saturn, which will be revved up during the eclipse, even though it's the day after, Mercury and Saturn will be in disbelief. Now, don't believe that. No, that's false. No, you're fooling yourself because there's going to be this voice of Mercury and Saturn playing out at the same time as the eclipse. And the eclipse is going to say, you've got to believe this. You've got to put your faith in this. And you have to go forward with your faith. And Saturn and Mercury are going to be, why should I do that? Why don't I just give up now? I'm not going to trust that. Why should I trust that? Because this is the nature of those two planets together. And they are also in the same realm. Mercury's in its own sign of Virgo, and Saturn is in Pisces. Just as the eclipse has the sun and the moon in Pisces, the sun in Virgo, this is another Virgo-Pisces axis opposition, and it can play tricks on us, okay? So we've got to consider all of this while we're going through this eclipse. There may be this voice, Mercury, saying, why should I believe that? And be really down on your faith. So you have to be aware of that. And sometimes when we have great moments of faith and incredible visions or incredible senses of intuition, we get, no, that didn't happen. Did that happen? That didn't happen. I can't believe it. And there's a disbelief with Mercury opposite Saturn, a disbelief. So they're going to be sort of balancing each other out, but at the same time, Mercury Saturn could really rain on the parade, okay? Know what you're seeing, know what you're feeling, okay? Then we're going to get to the Sun trine Uranus on Thursday the 19th, which is very nice. That's a smooth relationship. As the Sun then moves opposite Neptune on September 20th, Friday. Okay, so this is all a very deep relationship with the Sun this week, with Saturn involved with some of these things. Saturn is going to be with the Moon before it goes into the eclipse. Saturn's going to be with Mercury. The Sun is involved in the eclipse, obviously, and then Uranus, and then Neptune. And the Sun is getting ready to leave. This is the last week of the Sun in Virgo. It's getting ready to leave and go into Libra next Sunday, the 22nd, which is when we have the equinox. Okay, so the Sun is going to talk to all three outer planets Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so depending on where you live, it's Saturday or Sunday for Sun trine Pluto. So Sun trine Uranus, Sun opposite Neptune, and then Sun trine Pluto. The Sun is our life force, our vitality, talking to all of the outer planets. There's many shifts and changes after this experience of the eclipse. There's other energies that are supporting the eclipse and supporting us in our journey. Don't get misled by Mercury Saturn. They could be really, really a bummer in the middle of this, okay? The outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are all at the end of signs. And Uranus is towards the end of Taurus, and Neptune is at the very end of Pisces, and Pluto, as we know, is at the very end of Capricorn. Endings of outer planets also stir up our internal nervous systems, okay? So anything that's agitated by, like if you've got planets at the end of signs, you're going to feel these things. One of these planets is going to be affecting you. And so not only is the Sun moving to the end of the time in Virgo and moving into Libra next Sunday, but Venus is also moving from the end of Libra and touching the outer planets in a different way than the Sun. So Venus is talking to all the outer planets as well. And Venus is talking on Friday the 20th in conjunct to Uranus, which is that needling aspect I talk about. She's then making another in conjunct to Neptune. So she's really making a bit of a yod experience because Neptune and Uranus are in a sextile to one another. So they are a smooth relationship, Neptune and Uranus. Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto are all talking pretty nicely to one another right now. So that's good. The outer planets, we like it when they're getting along. And so that's profound. That helps us move along through these transitions and changes in a very positive way. So Venus is triggering them. She's triggering Uranus, she's triggering Neptune, and so there may be some decisions we make around relationships and people and friends and stuff. But then she's going to square Pluto on Sunday. So she's really like leaving Libra, her favorite sign, and moving into Scorpio. Not so much her favorite sign. This is the moment of the dark goddess. And after she squares Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, 5 hours later or so, she's going into Scorpio. And she's going to spend some weeks there. And we get to look at our darker motives in our relationships, our hidden agendas, our secrets, things that we may not be comfortable with in the people we know and in ourselves. There may be, this is a time to really hone in on what you'd like to change about yourself. Because, Scorpio is a time of transformation as we go into the later months of the year. And as an aside here, the later months of the year, you don't think okay, we still have the rest of September, October, November, December, right? Today I walked into the hardware store and the Christmas decorations were there. They had a whole platform with all the little Christmas village and the little Ferris wheel for Christmas and Santa's workshop. And Christmas was happening in the hardware store. Okay, I went in there to get some air conditioning because I was on one of my power walks. I'm like, I'm going to walk into the hardware store and pick up a couple things. And it was nice and cool, but it was hot outside. And of course, it's always hot here. But it's not Christmas on September 15th. They didn't have any Halloween decorations up. It's not a huge holiday here, but it's enough of a holiday. And they don't do Thanksgiving here. I do Thanksgiving here. But can you believe it? It's September 15th. I mean, come on. Can you wait a couple months? Can we at least wait till Pluto's out of Capricorn? I mean, so yes, we are going into the latter third of the year. We are in the latter third of the year, going into the latter quarter of the year. And this is just sort of like disturbing when I walked in. And then I posted it on Instagram in my stories, and people were like, oh my God, it's too early. Yes, it's too early. We are in this later part of the year, but it's not so late. It really isn't. It's not so late. We're still in September. We haven't, you know what? Technically in the Northern Hemisphere, it's still summer. Okay, the equinox is next Sunday when all those aspects happen. The equinox is next Sunday, okay? That's the beginning of autumn in the Northern Hemisphere and the beginning of spring in the Southern Hemisphere. So we're not near Christmas. Sorry, folks. We're still in summer up north, okay? All right. It's always summer here, sort of. I shouldn't say that because rainy season is technically supposed to be winter here, but it was awfully hot today. So next Sunday's a big day, and this week is a big week. And so we do have a lot of energy flying around this week. We have a lot of emotional things happening this week. Once Venus goes into Scorpio, she's in a water sign. It's more intense. She's going to spend that next eclipse in the water sign of Scorpio. And we are moving through some deep feelings, emotions, questions, frustrations, and energies. Okay, so let yourself pass through this stuff and work with the energy. Tap into it. Listen to it. Listen to yourself. Do a ritual for this full moon. Go out and look at it. See it. Be with it. Connect with it. Stand on Mother Earth because it's Virgo season still for the next week, Virgo season. And we have a lot to process this week. And, eclipses bring a lot to do, a lot of energy. It's a little frenetic. Stay calm, stay centered, do good meditations. Meditation will get you through this. And I have to say, somebody asked me today, how are you getting through all of this? Well, I said, I'm meditating. And I'm meditating a lot. I'm doing my Reiki on myself and my life. And I'm doing meditations and visualizations and things for myself. So I highly recommend meditation during this time. It's going to help you soothe yourself during the eclipses, during this experience of Pluto and getting through this, okay? So thank you for listening. It's beautiful to have you here. Grateful for all of you. And please, please come see me. Come see me on Instagram, The Golden Astrologer. Come see me for a session. Come see me for expansion mentoring, and we will get through all of this together. And expansion mentoring will help you rewire your brain, rewire old patterns, clear old beliefs. This is what we do in expansion mentoring, and it's very exciting. And it clears you up and prepares you for something new, which would be the right thing to do right now, everybody, when we are experiencing the big shift of planets going into new signs, such as the outer planets, okay? So come see me for expansion mentoring. We do 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. 12 months is great because you're going to be covering the whole territory of Uranus going into Gemini, Pluto going into Aquarius, and Neptune shifting back and forth between Pisces and Aries, and Saturn going into Aries. We don't really do a lot of astrology and expansion mentoring. We touch on it from time to time, but it helps you leave a lot of the old belief systems behind, and we clear the decks for the new, okay? Have a beautiful week, a beautiful eclipse. Thank you so much for listening. Gratitude to one and all, and I will see you on the internet, and you will hear me on this podcast next week. Gratitude to all. Many blessings for this eclipse.